some of the other presidential candidates who were not included in Friday's debate, what they had to say about the bailout. This is Libertarian presidential nominee Bob Barr.
Now we have the federal government, the Bush administration, coming to us, the taxpayers of this country, and saying, we want you to bail us out of the problem that we've created over the last 10 years. You open the door to this. You throw open wide the barn doors here. This raid on the federal treasury, this raid on the taxpayers of this country, you'll know for a fact that it will happen again and again and again. Already, others are lining up. The automobile industry is already lining up for its bailout. The Republican and the Democrat parties are complicit, not only in causing this problem through their bad policies, their bad legislation, but also in proposing this bogus solution to the problem.
That's Bob Barr, Libertarian candidate for president. We also interviewed independent presidential candidate Ralph Nader last week. This is some of what he had to say.
It's not clear at all why a bailout is needed. That's part of the stampede and the panic that Bush and Paulson and Bernanke are pushing Congress toward. You know, it's eerily reminiscent when you listen to Bush yesterday of how he stampeded the Congress and the country into the criminal war invasion of Iraq in 2003. I mean, look at all his statements. This could do this. This would do that. Farms failing, small business, ta-da, ta-da. The first question we have to ask as citizens is, why is there a need for a bailout?
That's Ralph Nader. And finally, this is Green Party presidential candidate Cynthia McKinney talking about the bailout.
First of all, we need a moratorium on foreclosures. Secondly, we need to renegotiate all adjustable rate mortgages into 30 or 40-year loans. We also need to make sure that we redefine credit so that credit can work for small business owners and individuals and not against them. We also need accountability in the system, openness, transparency, and accountability.
George Farah, it sounds like it would be a very different debate about the most important issues of the day if these third-party candidates were included.
Absolutely, Amy. Thank you so much for highlighting the significance of third-party inclusion. There is no doubt that often the Republican Democratic parties take positions, in large part due to the corporate interests that finance their campaigns, that are directly at odds with the opinions of either the majority of Americans or tens of millions of Americans. And these debates, which are designed to inform voters so they can make substantive decisions, should be airing the ideas that are supported by the vast majority of Americans that the two major parties are excluding. And historically, that is the role that third parties have played. Historically, it has been third parties, not the major parties, that have supported and are responsible for the abolition of slavery, women's suffrage, public schools, public power, unemployment compensation, minimum wage, child labor laws. The list goes on and on. The two parties fail to address a particular issue. A third party rises up and is supported by tens of millions of Americans, forcing the Republican Democratic parties to co-opt that issue, or the third party rises and succeeds, which is why the Republican Party jumped from being a third party to being a major part of the United States of America. When you exclude third parties from the election process, third parties that the vast majority of Americans would like to see in the presidential debates, you're not only denying those people the right to choose who they want to run for president and who they want to vote for, but you're denying the very fundamental and critical issues that in a generative democracy we need to have aired in front of tens of millions of voters.
George Farah, I want to thank you for being with us. Your website?
OpenDebates.org. I'd appreciate if everyone took a peek at it. Thank you.
George Farah, Executive Director and founder of Open Debates, author of No Debate, How the Republican and Democratic Parties Secretly Control the Presidential Debates. This is Democracy Now! When we come back, Middle East correspondent Robert Fisk on the Age of the Warrior. Stay with us.